Are your emails really safe and compliant? If you're running your own mail server, then you're already in control of your own emails. But what about long-term archiving, legal compliance, or just keeping a permanent record of all communication? In this video, I'm going to show you how to integrate Mailpiler in your Mailcow setup, all running in Docker, of course. Mailpiler is a powerful open source mail archiving solution. This video ties in directly with my last video, the Mailcow setup. So if you haven't watched that one yet, or if you don't know anything about Mailcow or setting up your own mail server, then I recommend you to watch that one first and then come back later into this video. But before I show you how to configure the Mailpiler, let's just have a quick look in theory what a mail archive actually does. Imagine this one is your computer, your phone, whatever device you're using to send an email. So you want to send out an email, you write your email, and then you send it through the internet, obviously. In the internet, through DNS resolution, your mail finds its way to the mail server. That's happening right here. On that mail server, there are two options. Option one, you can run a sync job that will run every couple of minutes to just sync all those emails to the mail archive. But the downside of that is, for example, let's set the sync job to 5 minutes. Within that 5 minutes, someone could delete the email before it even gets archived. So you don't have a really foolproof archive. That's why I prefer solution number two. You can set your Mailcow to automatically send every email it receives via blind copy BCC to the Mailpiler. And of course, you can even do that with every email that's been sent out. So that's an instantly archiving. That's what we're going to do. We receive an email on the mail server. In the mail server, we're going to set that every email received and every email sent out will be automatically sent via BCC to our Mailpiler. But let's start by setting up our Mailpiler in Docker Compose. Right here, we are inside the Mailcow directory. So we switch back and inside, no, one back here. And inside here, we're going to make a directory. Let's call it Mailpiler. Let's change into Mailpiler. Oh, they're both starting with mail. And in here, we're going to do vim docker-compose.yml. And as always, you will find every command and every file we're doing in the video description down for download. I tried so many different images for Mailpiler, but none of them worked until I found this one from Jay Suto, and this one actually really works. We can go here in Docker, and in here there is this docker-compose.yaml file that I'm just going to copy and then paste into our Docker Compose file. So there it is. I just want to adjust some few points. For example, the container name, I want to add piler in here because the Mailcow also uses a MySQL container, so this one won't get confused. Yeah, we can leave this like that. Going to change this eventually. And here for the piler itself, I want to add a host name. It's called mailpiler.com. And the container name, I want also mailpiler.com. I will show you later why that is. I can do this. It will listen to port 25 and I can't have it listen to port 80 because that's my Nginx already. So I will make it listen to port 8085 should be fine. Health check, that's okay. That's okay. And also I want to have a Docker network. I will create the Docker network outside of Docker file. To create a Docker network, we can run Docker network create, and then let's give it a name, Piler network. And then if we run Docker network ls, it shows us the Piler network here. Why do we need that? Because I want to have the Mailpiler and the Mailcow to be in the same Docker network. That way the Mailcow can send the email via blind copy directly through the Docker network rather than having it sent through the internet back to the same server. And to put the Mailpiler into that Docker network, we're going to add this to our Docker Compose file. Where is it? Here. So down here, we're going to add some new lines, and then we're going to add the following. We're going to define network with an S plural. Then the name of the network is Piler network. And then we're going to say external true, telling Docker Compose that this network comes from outside of the Docker Compose file. And to add our containers into this Piler network, we're just going to copy those two lines to YY. Two lines have been yanked, and then we go up here. This container is the Piler container itself. I want it under volumes, and then just P for paste, but it needs to be indented in here and indented in here. And then the Manticore, why not? So it's all inside this Piler network to be nice and isolated from each other. Not from each other, but from other Docker Compose services that we're going to run here eventually. So under MySQL as well. And then let's indent this as well. And then we can save this file. But now we've only done this in the Mailpiler, and for the Mailcow to be in the same network, we need to do that in the Docker Compose file for Mailcow as well. So we're going to change into Mailcow Dockerized, have Vim Docker Compose in here. Let's go all the way down to the bottom. There is already something configured for networks. We're just going to add ours. Piler network external true. Not every container needs to be in the Piler network, but some of them needs to be. So let's just check the Docker API. I don't think so. Watch this watchdog, that's for monitoring. Net filter, I don't think so. This one, I don't think so either. Nginx, no. Memcached Mailcow, no. Postfix, yes, this one definitely needs to be in there. I'm going to set this to Piler network. And it doesn't matter if this container is already in a different network. They can be in multiple networks at the same time. So let's go through this once more. What do we have here? This is Dovecot. This is for authentication. This one is needed because we need to authenticate networks. Piler network. Where else? Sogo Mailcow, that's for web mail. We don't need that in the same network. PHP, no. RS spam, no. Clamd, I'm not quite sure what this one does. Redis, no. MySQL, no. And the Unbound, I don't think either. So let's save this. And then let's restart this one. Docker compose down and Docker compose up-d. So the containers are already in that new Docker network. And then let's also start up our Mailpiler container. So let's go back here and change into here. There's our Docker Compose file. So we're going to say Docker compose up-d, and it's pulling all the images and running those, starting up those containers. And since it's already pulling those images, means our syntax is okay. Now it tells us it can't find a manticore.conf. That's what I forgot actually. All right, so back to GitHub. We have a manticore.conf and also a piler.cnf. And let's have a look in here. Yeah, I think this one is needed. So let's just copy this all, copy this, go back to our terminal, and then, how was it called? Oh, it's here. manticore.conf. I created one by itself. Let's just rm-r manticore.conf and also this piler. And then let's have our own. Let's just paste this all in here. This from the official documentation of this file. And since it made this piler.cnf, we're going to have piler.cnf as well. And then let's go to the repository and have a look here and copy this and paste it in here as well. Okay, let's save this and then let's run our Docker Compose up-d again. Port is already allocated, just 1 second. I think it's because of this Docker Compose up command. Let's run Docker Compose down, and then if we do Docker PS, it shouldn't be running anymore. So now if we do Docker Compose up, it still tells me that the port 25 is already allocated. Docker Compose down again. All right, yeah, I just remembered what I did there. So we can do docker compose.yaml, and since we don't expose our piler to the internet, we don't really need this port 25 to be exposed. So we can just comment this out, save this. Did I Docker Compose down? Yes. So we do Docker Compose up, and now it's up and running. And to be able to use the web interface of our Mailpiler, we need to configure our Nginx. So let's just split this terminal. Let's cd into etc Nginx sites enabled. You know the drill. I nearly do that in so many of my videos. I went a wrong turn here, not sites enabled, sites available. If we have a look in here, we already have our mail to sysadminhub.com from last time. And what we can do is we copy this one and call it piler or archive the sysadminhub.com. And when we open this, since we're using a wildcard certificate, we can just change the server name, and I can just use this one, archive.sysadminhub.com, and then let me just delete all of this till the end of the line, and we don't have it listened to 8080. We have it listened to 8085. It's what we configured. The certificates are fine like this, and then in here we're just going to set it to archive.sysadminhub.com, delete all the way to the end .com. Don't forget the colon here at the end. Then we can save this. And as always, we're going to cd into sites enabled and create a symbolic link in here from sites available archive. Now we have archive and mail, this is admin hub. Don't forget to set up a subdomain pointing to your server if you recreate this. So nginx-t, it's all successful. So we can do systemctl reload nginx, and then it's all up and running. Let's close this second terminal, and in our Mailpiler, not in the Mailpiler itself, but in the volume. So let's change into var lib docker volumes. In here there's a bunch of them, but what we need is the Mailpiler etc, I think. Yes. So let's change into Mailpiler etc data, and this is where we need to be. What are we going to do here? In our Mailpiler, we have the opportunity to log in with our mailboxes that we configured in Mailcow. So every user can actually log into the Mailpiler, into the archive, and have a look at what they're archiving. Not what everyone is archiving, but only what's been sent and sent out to from their own mailbox. So we're going to vim piler.conf. Oh, one thing before that, we in the piler.conf we don't configure what I just told you, but in here we're going to configure our archiving address, archive at mail-piler.com. Let's save this, and what I actually wanted to do is in the config site PHP. Yes, in here we need to change this one into what our URL for the Mailpiler is. So archive.sysadminhub.com, because after the login you will be redirected to this address here. And now to what I was actually talking about. So if you go to the end of the file, let's have a new line and then paste in this one. It's going to tell us we enable IMAP authentication. The IMAP host is our mail server, our Mailcow server. So mail.sysadminhub.com. The IMAP port is 993, the default, also SSL to true, yes. And the name constant is our address, which is archive.sysadminhub.com. So we save this, and for good measure, let's restart our containers. So Mailpiler, docker, compose down, docker, compose up-d. I really hope you like my channel and my content and my videos. If you do, please leave a like, a comment, and consider subscribing. It really helps out small channels like mine so much. Thank you for your support. When you use the web interface for the Mailpiler, this is how it's going to look like. You have the login page. The default login is admin@local. Don't forget the local. And the password is pilerrocks, just like this one. And after you log in, this is what's going to look like. You have the health monitor here. It's going to tell you the mail-piler.com status. That's what we named the container, and just how much storage it takes and everything. You have statistics here, how many emails have been archived. There's not much going on here. But what you really need to do is you go into administration, go to users, and in here you have by default the admin and also the built-in Piler auditor. He can see every email that's been archived. So you're going to change the passwords for those two. And if you like, you can even set up two-factor authentication with Google Authenticator just to make everything safe. You don't need to add another domain in here. I tried that out just for fun, but you don't really need to do that. And actually, you don't need to configure anything else anymore in here. The Piler already works out of the box just like that. And in the Mailcow itself, you need to log in via your admin login. And then we can go to email and configure, and then go to address rewriting. And in here, you can add a BBC map. So you're going to choose your domain, which one you want, either domain or even just a single mailbox, but I want it for the whole domain, and then we can send it to, and the BCC destination will be archive@mailpiler.com. Let me copy this one. We add this, And then let's add another one also for the sysadminhub.com to recipient. So every email that's been sent out was the first one, and now every email that we receive will be BCC'd to archive@mailpiler.com. And that's already it. You already configured everything now. I just sent a test email to myself, and here you can see in the postfix log that something has been sent to me, to my address, and in here it has been sent to the Mailpiler as in instantly. You can see 8:15:27 seconds, and at 8:15 and 27 seconds it already sent it to the Mailpiler. So if we log in here with my account, oh, I just realized it actually bounced here from the host mailpiler.com invalid recipient. I'm not quite sure why, but I will figure that out later. But you can already see when I log in with admin@sysadminhub.com, you can see all the emails, the test emails that I've been sending from before. You can see every email in here in your archive. So it's working in the files for the download. I'll promise you it will work with those. Okay, I figured it out. I had a wrong top-level domain ending in my piler.conf file because I was actually testing it out with mailpiler.de first, and then I changed it to .com, and I forgot to adjust it there. So now it's been sent. You can see to archive@mailpiler.com, sent with 250 OK, and in the Mailpiler itself, this is my Piler test from just right now. It's been sent too. So it's all working now for real. This is it for the Mailpiler. I hope you liked this video, and now all your emails are going to be archived in the Mailpiler itself. See you next time.